Hello and welcome to another fantasy football tournament series. This is the Copa Centroamericana con Mexico. Yes, a Central American Cup already exists, but it does not include Mexico. So consider this sort of like my Oceania Cup, but without New Zealand. Now here's the opposite. I'm adding a team that does not participate. It is Mexico, because Mexico is technically and geographically considered part of North America, along with the USA and Canada. So there are only 7 countries in Central America, and thus only 7 teams that participate in the Central American Cup, which takes place roughly every 2 years or so. They're, Honduras, El Salvador, Belize, Costa Rica, Panama, Guatemala, and Nicaragua. But I wanted to add Mexico here because I think it would make things really interesting. And Mexico is close enough to Central America. I mean, it's the gateway between North America and Central America anyway. And it gives me a nice round, even number of 8 teams to work with here. And this is going to be a Confederations Cup style format. So, top 2 teams from each group go through, semifinals, third place, final. You know, uh, I was thinking of making Mexico the host, but I wanted to keep the tournament in Central America. So I made Costa Rica the host nation here. So let's jump right into the group. So, Group A, we have Costa Rica, Honduras, El Salvador, and Belize. Group B, we have Mexico, Guatemala, Nicaragua, and Panama. Let's jump right into the games. Do keep in mind that Costa Rica is my host nation, mi anfitrión, in este torneo. So in this tournament, this opening match between Costa Rica and Honduras, really intense rivalry between these 2 teams. I have Costa Rica winning 2-0. In the second game between El Salvador and Belize, going with a little slight surprise. El Salvador, in qualification, struggled to score some goals. They had a better CONCACAF Gold Cup overall, so they're an improving team, but here I'm going with a little bit of a surprise. I'm going with a draw. I'm going with a boring 0-0 draw. I think Belize will hold them back. Costa Rica versus El Salvador. Believe it or not, El Salvador tends to push Costa Rica to the brink on most occasions that they meet. It's always a lot closer than it should be because Costa Rica is a much better team. El Salvador almost eliminated Costa Rica in the 2011 CONCACAF Gold Cup, the Copa de Oro. Matches between them, for some reason, they're always tight affairs. And I want to throw up a curveball here. I'm going with a shock 2-1 victory for El Salvador. Belize versus Honduras. There will be no surprise here. Honduras will win this match 3-0. Honduras versus El Salvador. This is also another very interesting rivalry that's very hostile. I'll make a separate video on this sometime in the future on how the rivalry between Honduras and El Salvador sparked a war between the 2 countries. Yeah, not joking. In this match, I think Honduras would win 2-1. And in Belize versus Costa Rica, I have Costa Rica winning 4-0. So the final standings in this group, I have Costa Rica in first. Despite having lost a game, they have 2 wins and 1 loss with 6 points. Honduras, the same, with 2 wins and 1 loss, but with an inferior goal difference. El Salvador in third with 4 points. Belize in last with 1 point. So El Salvador and Belize are out. So let's go on to Group B. Mexico versus Guatemala. I have this being a 3-1 victory for Mexico. Nicaragua versus Panama. I have another 3-1 victory for Panama. Mexico versus Nicaragua. I have Mexico getting a thumping victory here, 5-0. And Panama versus Nicaragua, I actually have being a 1-1 draw. Guatemala versus Nicaragua, I have a high-scoring victory for Guatemala, 4-2. And Panama versus Mexico, because they're playing on neutral territory, I have Panama getting a result here. I think it'll be a 1-1 draw. So that leaves us in this group with Mexico topping in first with 7 points, Panama in second with 5, Guatemala with 4, Nicaragua with 0. So Guatemala and Nicaragua are out. No surprises of the 4 teams that advanced, right? So let's get to the semifinals. For the semifinals, Costa Rica versus Panama and Mexico versus Honduras. Some good matches here. Costa Rica versus Panama. Ended in a 1-0 victory for Costa Rica in the CONCACAF Gold Cup quarterfinal of 2017 through an own goal. Here, I think Costa Rica will win. They are on home soil. And I will say it is, I'll say a 2-1 victory for Costa Rica. Mexico versus Honduras, I think this would be much more competitive than the quarterfinal they had against each other, also in 2017. It is on neutral territory as well. I actually see this going to extra time, and where I think Mexico wins. No, actually, yeah. I'll say Mexico wins this 3-2 in extra time over Honduras. The match for third and fourth place between Panama and Honduras. I've got Panama winning this. I got them winning it 1-0. So Honduras will come in fourth. Panama in third. And the final between Costa Rica and Mexico. If this was anywhere else, I think I'd pick Mexico. I mean, even so, I mean, playing away, they're still the better team. Their match at home ended in a 1-1 draw. The last time Costa Rica played Mexico at home. That was towards the end of qualifying for the 2018 World Cup. I see another draw here. I see the same thing happen. I see Mexico taking the lead, Costa Rica equalizing through maybe Urena or Brian Ruiz on the counterattack. And because Costa Rica is the host, the anfitrion, I would see it going to penalties where Keylor Navas makes a few saves. And I have Costa Rica winning it. So Mexico in second. Costa Rica, the home team, partying on the streets of San Jose. Costa Rica wins the Copa Centroamericana con Mexico. Costa Rica, the host nation, wins it. First place, Mexico in second. Panama in third. Honduras in fourth. So leave a comment below, like, subscribe. What are your predictions? I'll see you later today, hopefully, God willing. Until then, have a good one. Much love. And as always, peace out.